Again, welcome. My name's Tom Sullivan, Director of Operations. I have a very checkered background. That's why I was really interested in your slashes. I have a lot of slashes in my past responsibilities as well as my current, but my passion's always been slots because of one thing. They don't lie, they're straightforward, they don't call in sick. They occasionally will go down, but we've got great mechanics that can fix them. And on top of that, it's a numbers game. It's a math equation. All I look for at the end of the day is volume. If we have a jackpot, I don't freak out. I don't say, oh my Lord, we had a jackpot. I want to know what happened. I want to know who it was. I want to know their information. I want to promote it. I want to market it. But end of the day, it's all about volume. If we put in $100,000 of volume through a game, and what that means, it doesn't mean you spent $100,000. It means you've cycled $100,000 through that game. I know that my hold percentage, actual and theoretical, are going to be right the same. I know that. So that's why slots has always been something that I gravitated for, because it's a math equation. It's not hard. So end of the day, when you look at it, don't freak out if somebody's winning. Ask the questions. Make sure your manager knows that someone's hitting a lot of jackpots. But more often than not, that's because they're playing volume. And with volume, you're going to get jackpots. If we could, everybody go to the map for a minute. I just want to touch base with you on how we've laid this floor out. If you look at the very front, there's 8 games. These games are all progressive games. What that means is every time coin goes in, a portion of that goes to a meter, and the meter continually goes up. They are set to start at $10,000. They'll continue to go up until they hit. They're very cool games. They're called Dragon Link and Phoenix Link. These are the games that we've chosen to put right at your front door. They're going to go head-to-head with Mark Twain. Mark Twain is almost entirely ATI. So these are ATI is Aristocrat, and that's what these games are. So when they walk down the street, they're going to see really new, brand new, lovely games right in your front window. That should hopefully will draw them in. If you come in from the bar side, the first set of games here, there's 11 games. These are from IGT. IGT has great products. They've got not only great products, but they've got good support. Their reps are fantastic. And what's good about 40 of the games that we're putting on your floor, if they don't perform, we just call the vendor and they trade out the theme. The box stays the same, but they give us a new theme. So if we have something that underperforms, it's not a big issue. We can get it up and running. As you're looking down from left to right, the next 4 games are from a company called Gaming Arts. Gaming Arts is a company that has basically table games in a box. You'll have roulette, you'll have blackjack, you'll have craps, but it's all in a slot machine. So again, without having the table games offering with dealers, you're going to have table games offering, which is really nice. The next games as you're moving over are from a company called Light & Wonder. Light & Wonder has some very, very, very good themes out recently. Huff and Puff is an example, Lion Link, and Mole Mummy. More Mummy. Those games are actually all on our floor. John will show you some of those when we're out there. The slot machine concept, what I want to do when we're out on the floor is some very simple things. Basically, as you look at your list, every cabinet's different, but all the cabinets will open with the same key. The floor will be all keyed to the same key, so you don't have to go home. Different key for a different game. No, they're all the same key to open the game. The access that you'll have is a key to open the game and a key to reset. The other access keys will be more controlled. Those will be for the drop. And the drop is, what that means is once a week they go through, there's a can in the machine, they'll pull that can out, they'll put a new can in, the drop team will, and then that money is secured, taken to the count room, is counted, verified by each box in each game, and then the process continues from there. That's how the drop goes through. Every game has a power button. They're all in different locations, but they all look the same. It's a toggle switch. Again, John is nodding his head because John, how long have you been doing slots?
Let's see, about 30 of the 40 years I've been working
Yeah,
in
so
gaming.
John has great background and experience on the tech side, so when we get out on the floor, he's gonna actually show you how to do these things in the slot machine. Again, I mentioned there's a reset key on the game. Reset key will give you the ability to put a game out of service. Well, now you ask the question, why would you put a game out of service? Well, I got Tommy Thompson over here, who's my whale, and he's been playing the game for 4 hours and he wants to go have something to eat. I'll hold the game for him. I'll put it out of service as a courtesy hold for a couple of hours. That's something you always would go to your GSM or your manager, which would be Steve, make sure he knows that that's what he's requesting, but Tommy's gonna appreciate it. Because in Tommy's mind, I just put in X amount of money in this game and it's gonna hit. If he walks away and somebody else sits down and wins the jackpot, he feels like that's his money. Now, games are absolutely cyclical. There's no rhyme or reason. They're called random number generators. They can hit at any time. They can hit back to back. But over time, it's going to be right at that theoretical hold percentage. So an out of service button is important for your better players. Also, when we go on the floor, where there's two specific things we're going to look at the games on the inside. One is called the BV, or the bill validator. Bill validator it's called an MEI. It's a Mars bill validator. You have them on slot machines, you have them on Coke machines, you have them on candy machines. The bill goes in, it reads the bill, you get those credits. The other is a ticket printer. We have Epic Transact printers, and that's where the Tito ticket comes out. Tito, as Dean said earlier, stands for ticket in, ticket out, and that way there's no coin in the game. All you have is bills or other Tito tickets. So John will walk you through how to clear a BV, how to unjam a bill validator, and where it is inside the game. Again, every game is going to be different, so sometimes they're here, sometimes they're there, but they all have a bill validator and they all have a printer. Tito tickets, well, it's all going to show you how to load a Tito ticket. Again, not a hard system, but you can put it in backwards, and then the ticket won't print correctly, and they won't be able to cash it. So it's important to put the tickets in correctly as you're doing that. The other issue that we're going to be dealing with is jackpots. If a customer hits a jackpot, which is a singles play of $1,200 or more, excuse me, GSM phone. It never stops, by the way.
Good afternoon.
If someone hits a jackpot, which is a taxable jackpot, which is $1,200 or more, the game will lock up and a Tito ticket will not print. The reason that happens is the government wants their money. They want to have a W2G, which is what we have to create when we have a taxable jackpot. When that occurs, everybody will be eventually issued a card like this, and it goes, you okay?
She needs numbers for a jackpot.
I have to.
Want me to do it?
Actually, John or Tommy can do it. All right, thank you very much. So here's a perfect example. We're right in the middle of talking about jackpots. We just had a jackpot on the floor. What happens is the slot person will go over to the game with a card, put it in, and request the jackpot to be printed. Once that's done, it will be printed at your Winners Club. The young lady who just called is at our Winners Club waiting for our numbers. And what that means is if there's a taxable jackpot over $1,500, a manager has to approve it. So a manager has to come in and put their code in to the casino track for the money to be able to be processed and the W2G to be printed. Again, John will show you that process of what you have to do on the slot side, and then I'll talk to you about what you have to do on the Winners Club side. Very apropos that happened at that moment. Hand-paid jackpots are very interesting in the sense too that try not to get confused with this, but you'll have a hand pay, which is a jackpot, which is taxable, which is a single play over $1,200, or you'll have a hand pay that's not taxable, but it could be as much as $3,000, $29.99. Well, how is that possible? If you're playing a game and you hit 400, and you continue to play and your credits are now at 700, and you continue to play and your credits now are up to 2,900, and you go to cash out the game, Most games will print a ticket, but no higher than 3,000, but some games will lock out. And if they lock out, that's called accumulated credit, and what it will say, it'll look like this on the SNP. It'll say CC hand pay, which is credit cash out. It's not taxable. I'm not trying to confuse you, but that's not a taxable. So when you go to the game, it's very important when you use that card, what does it say? If it says JP hand pay, that's taxable. And if you have a JP hand pay that's taxable, the guest must provide you with its social security number, a valid ID. And what's a valid ID? A valid ID is not an expired ID with this punched out void. Even though it looks like me, if it says void, it's not a valid ID. And there's only 4 forms of ID that we will accept. A valid ID is a driver's license issued from the state, not necessarily Nevada, any state in the United States. A ID card, state issued ID card, a passport, or a military ID. If someone comes up with a library card, a credit card, a tribal card, that's not considered a valid ID. If the guest is upset about it, again, what should you do? Bingo. Yeah, call the GSM, call someone over. Your goal is never to be the bad guy. Your goal is to be the best customer service provider that you can be. Your goal is to be happy, upbeat, and positive. And if something goes wrong, let me get my manager and let them deal with it, because we can be the bad guy but still be nice about it. You have to be the good guy all the time. So hand pay jackpots is something we're going to go through. We'll also deal with what's called the W2G. That's the piece of paper that we have to fill out if it's a taxable jackpot. That will then, one copy will go to the guest, one copy will stay with us, and that gets sent up with your processing because, again, the government wants to get their money. If it's a foreign person, someone who does not have a social security number, it will be a form called a 1042S. These are actually made right out of the system, and once we get that going, they'll print for you. But you still need to understand what they are. And in the W2G, it has to be filled out completely. When you are a slot person or you are working in the Winners Club, help each other. Review the W2G to make sure it has the name spelled correctly, the address is correct, the social security is correct, the second form of ID, hopefully we'll have the Players Club numbers for that. Make sure it's accurate because you're both responsible to make sure it is. At the end of the day, well, Bill did that one. No, I processed it. I'm just as responsible as that person is. And Dean talked about it earlier about gaming expectations. If you're on the floor, it's everybody's responsibility to address underage gaming. Never walk by a child that is standing next to a game and you walk by, no matter how busy you might be, if a gaming agent sees you do that, you and we will be fined. So, and because you're new and you're just opening, I guarantee you agents will be there on a regular basis. And you won't know who they are. They'll look like John or me or Caden. They will look like anyone, or Diana. They could look like anybody. Point being, you never know if they're there. Always act as if an agent is on the floor watching what you're doing, and you'll be better off. We talked about accumulated credit a little bit earlier, and the type of games that we're going to deal with today. We're going to probably there's 40 games that are going to be brand new, and about half of the games that we're going to walk through on how to open and look at the BBs, you're going to have on your floor. So that will be very, very helpful. In the bar top, we're going to open games, clear the bill validator, we're going to load tickets, and John will also show you how to calibrate a screen on a bar top. The reason that's important is it's a touch screen. So with use and time, and these are the used games we have, they're not brand new, they're refurbished, that you may have to recalibrate the screen. And all that means is when it's touched at this location, it's not reacting to what the guest is touching. So John will show you how to recalibrate, very easy and simple to go through, not hard at all. And I think we're gonna stop now because I have that drawing at 1:30. So we'll reconvene over at the club afterwards. And if you have any questions, John can help you with the actual technical side, and I'll again follow through with what we're going to do on the Winners Club side.